Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another one of our little Project Live videos. Monday, the 16th of February, and we just had a really exciting weekend, haven't we, really? Thought we'd have a little bit of catch up about everything today. What we thought about Sunday's result, what we think the team's going to be going forward, what are the chances of getting the top six now. So come and give us your feedback, let me know what you think about the players, what the atmosphere was like, how about the kit, what did you think about it? I absolutely loved the kit, I thought it was really, really good, absolutely brilliant, and I think it's one of those I just wish you were sort of wearing it every week now, because it just looks so good, doesn't it? And I think everyone's going to be a little bit like, whoa, we want that kit. We'll see, won't we? Let's see if we've got anyone on board at the moment. Come and say hello to me, guys. We've got 5 or 6 people watching, so we should get any moment now. We should be getting our first comments, I hope. Where's everyone gone? We've got 8 people on. No comments yet. Just come and say hello. Let me know you're around so we can get you on and have a little chat. Steve Harrison's on, always the first one, lately, Scott, sorry. How you doing, mate? Yeah, I think it was, it was one of those games, wasn't it? It was unlucky, definitely. We had enough of the game, I think, to win, absolutely no doubt about that. But there's 2 teams in it, weren't there? Steve Markey's on. Good afternoon, Steve. He's still buzzing. Yeah, I am as well, mate. And just so upsetting, wasn't it, really? Because we come so close. But I think looking back, it's probably not a bad thing, because what we don't want to do now is not to be playing games. There's not going to be many teams left in that last 8, last 16 of the FA Cup. So I think it's like we don't want to be having to play games and then not play games and have games in hand, because we don't want to be in that situation when we need points. Paul's on saying he's very proud, Brummy, and I think we all are, mate. That was the first thing to come out of it for me, was that I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed, but I wasn't like, when we lose a game or draw, usually at St Andrews, it's tin hat time for us, but it certainly wasn't. I don't think really we could have just left the group to get on with itself yesterday. Les Hales is on. How you doing, Les? My love. Les is one of my ladies that lift. She actually did a personal best on the deadlift today of 63 and a quarter kilos, I think. Well done, Les. It's nice to see you, love. Welcome to our Birmingham City podcast. She's a Man United fan, but let her off, she's alright, she's a good kid. She's a Scouser who's a Man United fan. What's that all about? Lorraine Dawn Harper is saying, I know, Steve, such a fabulous atmosphere. It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Full house, just everything was good. Steve Hickman, great seeing Allsop back. I mean, I wouldn't make a particular point of that, Steve. I mean, listen, Beadle gets a bad enough time from fans for no reason whatsoever. It was good to see Allsop getting the game, it definitely was. And I have to say, I thought he had a really good game. His long ball game yesterday was really on point. He didn't have a lot else to do, to be fair, so it wasn't all about the long ball game. But yeah, he played well. Dave is saying good morning. How you doing, Dave? John Farmer's on. So good yesterday, top performance. We controlled the game, didn't we, for large periods. And I think what we've seen as well was our ability to play against Premier League opposition. And I think this is what a lot of our supporters miss sometimes. Like against Albion, and everyone's going, oh, blah, 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 like, fucking hell, what you doing, what, the usual crap. I think one of the big things to take from the Leeds game, and we can think Norwich is going to be the same, and Middlesbrough, we're going to be playing teams that want to play football. So when Albion comes to St Andrews last week, they just wanted a point. They didn't want to play. They had their game plan was to stop us from playing. Leeds' game plan, although it didn't work that well, was to combat the way we play and play through us. Well, they couldn't play through us, and what happened was we played through their press really, really well. Played through it, over it, round it. We looked really inventive at times. Okay, John Farmer, so good yesterday, it was, mate. And Paul Evans is saying good afternoon to me. Good afternoon, Paul. Nice to see you again, mate. Yeah, I think it really was that the fact that we had control. And I'll tell you what, particularly in the first half, I was just thinking, what a play. Well, I put a little note into our moderators group just saying John Solis is a Premier League player, and he just is, isn't he? He is absolutely brilliant in that first half. Faded a little bit in the second. I think he was tired. He hasn't had that many games for Girona, and but you know, but even then, even when he tired, he was just everywhere, wasn't he? I absolutely love him. Harriet Grant is on. It's so nice to read some of the comments from other fans. For once, very complimentary of a wicked performance. Harriet, you know what? Absolutely right. It's lovely to see everyone singing from the same sheet. And let's just hope on, you know, when we play Norwich, and we can. Norwich will. They've got Clemente in charge now. He plays football. They're going to want to beat us, and I think that's going to be a challenge for them. Martin Butler, Allsop's distribution, it was really, really good. Oh, Paul's asking who's the man of the match. I don't know, you know, it's very hard to pick a man of the match out. I don't think you'd go far wrong with Clara. It was extremely strong with Panzo in the middle. But if I had to honestly choose one, again, you know, like, it could easily be Doyle or Solis, couldn't it? Because they can completely control that midfield. I think I would have to go with Clara because he was so commanding, but I don't like picking Clara as a man of the match because he's a centre half and he just did his job, didn't he? And he always does that. I'm not having a go at him, he was absolutely brilliant. But it's nice to see other players getting noticed. I think Doyle had an absolutely brilliant game. The longer it went on, the better it got. Some of, you know, you could see Doyle was in the mood to knock that ball around, and he really did. You know, he was pinging it left, right, and centre. Absolutely loved Doyle. What about Samuel? He wouldn't be my man of the match, Bill. I think he was adequate. I think you know when he was with Vicente on the right for the first 30 minutes, he looked a threat, but I think he faded. I think he got tired, which is fine. You know, he was strong, but yeah, he wouldn't be my man of the match, but he had a good game. Matt Butler, I thought Bright did it. Yeah, same thing there. Did really well. Yeah, he did. The back four looked pretty solid, and one that I was particularly happy with was Panzo, because I remember I was telling you we got the centre half coming, and there was two. You know, there was two on the possibles. One was American, and I'm not going to say his name. He went to he moved some. He went to another American team. And then Panzo came in on the last day, and the amount of stick, you know, I said we signed Panzo, what a good signing, blah blah blah. And the amount of stick we got, like, what, last day signing, desperate, what's the matter with them, desperate. Well, I've got to remind you, right, some of our other last day signings, Stansfield, Iwata, Roberts, you know, the list goes on, and being a last minute signing doesn't make it desperate, you know. So I thought he looked the business yesterday. I was like particularly wanting to see him because I know we need a left-sided centre half because it makes Clara's game so much better, and we've seen that yesterday. He was comfortable on the ball. He can pass the ball, you know, and he can understand why Chris Davies wanted him, because he's a footballing centre half where neither Neumann or Clara are. They they're in the trenches, they'll head anything that comes their way. Not particularly great with distribution. Clara will bring that ball out on his own if he needs to. Clara's possession and distribution is better than Neumann. Neumann, I don't think. I don't want to say anything negative about yesterday's game, and I think I think both of them played really, really well. Both Clara and Panzo. And Panzo does look relaxed on the ball, and that's what I love. You know, he did look he didn't panic at all at any time. In left back, of course, Wagner going forward. That left foot is beautiful. Free kicks, wonderful. So I thought Wagner had a really good game. The two DMs, I was a little bit surprised to see that Doyle was there, because I thought Iwata might play alongside Solis. I think we're a little bit lightweight with Doyle there, but perhaps not. He looked absolutely brilliant. But again, we was playing against a footballing team. If you're playing with a team that's going to put the boot in a little bit, Doyle can struggle a bit, but absolutely love him, What's your thoughts on their goal? Oh, I didn't think it was offside, to be honest, Matt. I just think it was like poor defending from us, to be honest. The ball was struck extremely well, to be fair, and I don't think it was there should have been someone in front to block that, or to stop him getting the shot off. It was poor defending. It was a loose ball, but when he struck it extremely well. It was really well hit. I don't think the keeper really had a chance. You would say if it hadn't been hit so hard, he might have probably got near it, but it was absolutely, it was a rocket, and I don't think it was offside, to be honest. But there's no VAR in the FA Cup for some reason. But there you go. Steve Rowick is saying, so fans are saying that starting 11 yesterday should be starting 11. What about Paik and Iwata? Well, Paik and Iwata aren't guaranteed to play, and I think there's going to be changes to that team eventually when people get back. You can't leave Ethan Laird out of a team that's pushing for promotion with 15 games left. That right-sided attacking fullback is a really important tool for us. Bright gets forward, but he's not an Ethan Laird, is he? I definitely think, for me, I would start with that. I wouldn't be worrying too much about that. I thought Priska looked quality as well, didn't he? I think we got a comment there about Priska. Pete Allen, do you think the way Priska press made a big difference? I do. I really do. And what happened, Pete, was what we saw yesterday was Priska up top with Jay behind him. Jay Stansfield in the 10, and that makes it so much different, because Jay wasn't playing up front and then having to come back and do the job of the number 10, because he was the number 10, and Priska as the centre forward looked really, really good to me. So he's big, he's quick, he is fast, isn't he? He doesn't mind taking players on. He mixes it. For a young kid, he looks about 11, and there he is mixing it with these Premier League centre halves and not worrying about it. I thought he looked great. So wish he could have scored, but then again, we only scored one stint with him, and it was right at the end, which made it absolutely brilliant, didn't it? It was a wonderful finish to the game. Cliff Campbell's here saying Playoffs looking like a possibility. It is looking like a possibility, but I think we have to feel that it's going to be hard. We've got a few difficult games coming up, but like I said before, we shouldn't be looking at our league position. So we shouldn't be looking at the league and going, right, oh no, we're down to 8th. Oh yeah, we're 2 points from 6th. Oh fuck, we're 11th. Oh, we're 5th. What we should be for 5th, fucking brilliant. What we should be saying is our target is 69 points. That's what we want to get, and just keep going for it. Daniel Garvey saying, "Oh, you Steve, happy days, Dan." Sean Bulldog, I feel we created the chances for the opposition by silly. There were a few unforced errors, but in a game like that, you're going to get it, Sean. I think Leeds did the same. There was some loose balls from Leeds, some sloppy passing at times. They didn't look as strong as us in the middle of the park. Made a big difference, but they are a very good quality team, aren't they? They're going to stay up, and there had to be a winner. Dave Pegg saying Jay was everywhere, especially in the first half. He's a very, very good player, Jay Stansfield, and although he's a last day signing, of course. It was just pluses all the way, wasn't it? Ducks came on. who else came on? Benteke, you know, he didn't do anything wrong. He was fine. Seen a few people talking about Kenya. Looks a little bit light to me. And to be honest with you, and a few people have said this, and I've done it as well. They've like replayed that last minute chance. It really should have just been hit. I know he tried to place it through a crowd of players. I'm not having to go at anyone because it doesn't matter what happened yesterday because we played brilliantly. But that last minute chance there was there to be taken. And of course, how close did Osman come with the one that hit the post? Pat Haslam's here. How you doing, Pat? Hope you're alright, mate. Old Pat's having a bit of trouble getting over the loss of one of our mates, Derek Stokes. And I hope you're feeling a bit better today, Pat. These things happen, mate, you know, the older we get, the more people we know that die. Daniel Garvey saying overall shape of the team was 100% improved all round. I don't, you know, you can make that point, Dan, but I think it's not so much like the shape of the team. I do agree with you. I think it was better. I didn't expect Doyle to be as prominent as he was, and he showed his Premier League qualities yesterday, but so did Solis. I mean, Jesus, what a player we got there. Priska up top as the 9 for me has got to be. He's got to be there. You know, he's absolutely. I thought he had a great game. Stansfield in the 10, he's good. Dimi played well. He was taken off as a precaution at half time. Vicente looked really lively. Bill saying Osman broke my heart yesterday with the chances. Well, I don't know. You know, I mean, what you got to think about with that, Bill, is you know, he got himself into those positions. He did. I think sometimes, like, his choice of footwear isn't perhaps good, but you know something, he had a really good game. He murdered that Leeds right hand side. He drew 2 men to him all the time, which leaves space for someone else. He cut in. He's going to win us a penalty extremely soon. I mean, on the one running on the left hand side, when he went along the byline, he cut inside, went past 2 players, and I was just thinking to myself, go down, because if you go down, that's a penalty, you know. But he didn't. He stayed up. He hit the post. He come as close as anyone else. You know, I thought he had a really good game. With Clara on the right and Priska up front, yeah. Well, Clara has got that. I mean, what we like about Clara, I think what we've missed with his him playing on the left-hand side of the defence, is that he can't play that long crossfield ball from right to left. You know, the one that the one that Allsop was playing yesterday to Osman, that ball, or to Dimi, that ball was missing when Clara played on the right, because he can't play that ball with the left foot. Emily Moulds on. How you doing, Em? It's lovely to see you here, love. Hiya, good afternoon. Little star, Em. We got B on, who's one of our moderators. We got Sean on, who's one of our moderators, and we got Em on, who's one of our moderators. All great. Emily writes a nice little piece yesterday. Em puts a lot of content in. So have a little read of some of Emily's stuff. I really like it. She knows what she's talking about, and you know, what a good kid, eh? Paul James, Norwich and Millwall. We take at least 4 points from the 2 games. That would be a brilliant return. I don't think we should get like above ourselves to think that, yeah, we played that game against Leeds. Norwich are still trying to stay up, so and I think they definitely will. I mean, Clemente has got them playing some really nice football. Millwall are a championship team. You know what? I think what you can take out of watching us yesterday, and I think some of the commentators said it. I listened to it on TNT because the Blues live was absolutely terrible. Did anyone else watch it on Blues Live? It was awful. It kept like stopping and going back and stopping and going back. In the end, I gave up. But I think with Norwich, Clemente is going to play football. Millwall are a first division a championship team playing in the championship and doing well. So they'll have a go at us. but their sort of play will suit us. They're not going to defend at home, neither are Norwich. So both of those games, I think, are there for the taking if we play like we did, and providing no one comes to that low block against us and they don't try and put all the bodies in front of us and frustrate us. If we're allowed to play football, you know, like if we're in the Premier League, we're going to be allowed to play football, aren't we? And then it lets you play your game. When you've got a Premier League team playing in the Championship, you're going to struggle, you know, and that's what we are. I mean, I hate to, it makes me sound a bit of a dick saying that, but I just think we are. Watching us yesterday, we're a Premier League team. You know, some of the football we played was lovely. We were fast as well. The transitions were quick because they could be quick, because you didn't have 10 men standing in front of the possible passes. Doyle was pinging it around left, right and centre. Solis was just everywhere, wasn't he? You know, he just everywhere. Absolutely loved him. Vicente in the first half had the Leeds left side pinned back, couldn't get out. Prisca was lively and you know, always looking, intelligent footballer. Stansfield running across the front, you know, behind Prisca, across the line, left and right, and he was looking so sharp, Stansfield. Unlucky a couple of times. He's going to score a goal again very, very soon, isn't he? You know, and then the threat of Wagner down the left is a real threat. Him and either Osman or Dimi are really, really dangerous down that left-hand side. So the lead, honestly, like the Leeds back four were pinned back at times, and I think they were a little bit lucky to escape with anything. You got it, mate. We played. Oh yeah. We did play really, really well, Lee. He's saying as well, Prisca needs to stop with the diving. I didn't think he was diving, to be honest. He done all the hard work down his feet. He scores that shot from Stano so close. I don't think Prisca was diving. I mean, we did see, didn't we, Vicente do a bit of a Spanish, a bit of a Spanish, I don't know, like dive if you want. And he did go down easily. I don't know. He got booked for it, which was sad because it was early on in the game. But I think you have to say he did sort of go down extremely easily, didn't he? There were other times, though, when we didn't get what we deserved. So it was one of those games, and Leeds are a good team. They're one of the better ones, aren't they? We've got quite a few people in at the moment. We've got 40 on the comments, so we've got loads of time left. It's usually a comment a minute, it works out, so that's good. He's strong, Prisca, isn't he? And of course he's big, so he can win those aerial balls now, so we haven't got to worry too much about if we have to put that long ball into the box, then we have got someone who can do it. But I was disappointed really, although I think the boss wanted to give everyone a game, so I'm not going to mention the substitutions, but Paul Evans is saying Vicente dive, double pike with artist. It was Paul, it was a dive. And you know, like when it happened, I'm going penalty, you know. When it's replayed, it's like, whoa, you got away with it there, son. And like I say, I watch it on TNT, and obviously they're completely neutral, you know. They had Robbie Savage as one of their like geezers at talk, and he was and he was giving it. He was really, you know, up in the blues. Everyone was, and you know, but that wasn't a penalty. Paul Jones saying thought the ref was decent. Yeah, he was all right, mate. You know, refs don't have an easy game, do they? They don't have an easy life. No one's happy with them at the end of the day. Mark Eagles tells us not upset with the result. We play like that now every week. We're going up, and Liavu was good. Was good on TNT, Steve. Yeah, it was, Lee. It was good. The coverage was really good, and they're really fair, weren't they? Usually, you know what they're like. They sort of give us a bit of shit, particularly when you're playing against the Leeds team. You know, when everyone's like up their arse. I thought we did. I thought the commentary was great. Matt Butler is coming on saying that hope Panzo claims that spot in defence now. I think he will, but I don't know if Chris Davies is going to take away Neumann's place on the back of an FA Cup game that Neumann wasn't selected for just to give Panzo a game. But I think we can't afford to be like that. We can't have those you got to be, just got to do the best for the team, and I think Panzo needs to play on that left. Emily's saying, wouldn't it be fantastic to see more of Panzo? He was superb. He was really good. He looked relaxed, didn't he? He was. You can tell he's a footballing centre half. I don't think he gave away one missed pass. When his passing couldn't go forward, he was making sensible short passes, which is what Neumann sometimes tries a pass that he can't do, and he loses possession. So I didn't see that yesterday. And when Clara's on the right, he is just so much better, isn't he? Hope Panzer claims, yeah, he is. He looked good, didn't he? But don't be over egging it at the moment, because you know what? When he has a couple of bad games, everyone's saying last minute purchase and all that crap again, But when Robinson's back, we've got two left-sided centre halves and we've got two right-sided centre halves, with Neumann backing up Clara and with Robinson backing up Panzo. That's job done. It looks like Ethan Laird isn't far away either. I love Clinton. He's still a blue nose, always positive about us. Yeah, and Robbie Savage was, to be fair. He was like, but he said he hadn't been back to St Andrews since he played for us. Tony used to say Clara had his best game. I wouldn't say you're far wrong there, to be honest, mate. I think he did play really, really well. He's one of those centre halves, isn't he? And as the captain, he leads from the front, and you could see him in the box for some of the Leeds corners, like telling people where to go, particularly with Solis. When Solis came back to defend, he's a biggish lad, so Clara was telling him like that. You have that space there, And then with Panzo, he looked. He was talking to Panzo a lot, talking to Alsop a lot. So I think he had a brilliant game. One of the best performances I've seen in many a year. It's hard to think of a game where we played better. We played well against Newcastle, but we were always I think against Newcastle, it was more us probably wanting to take it to penalties, where against Leeds, we wanted to not take it to penalties because we deserved to win. Very disappointed with the penalty shootout, and two players you would never think are going to miss a penalty probably would be Doyle and Roberts, because they're both such classy players. But you know what? Doyle just played like 120 minutes. What a great game he had. He was dead on his feet when he finished, and Roberts had run himself into the ground. His goal, although he took a deflection, it was really well hit. We deserved that. If we'd lost that game 1-0, then I would have been really upset. Emily's saying, I think both Clara and Doyle had their best performance. Yeah, Doyle definitely. Clara does lots of performances like that, but that was a bigger performance, wasn't it? It was one where it was FA Cup, it was on the telly, it was all that, So I think you're probably right. But Doyle, wow. I've said quite a few times that as a footballer I really rate Doyle, and he needs to get in that midfield somewhere. But when Solis came, I thought Doyle's going to struggle to get into that team now, but now, I'm wondering now, how does Pake get back into that team? How does Iwata get back into that team? Although it's a squad game, isn't it? It's a lot to think about. Emily said it was another level compared to Newcastle. I think it was. I think Chris Davis made the point of saying, last season we were a very good League One team playing a Premier League team. This season we're a really good Championship team playing a Premier League team. I would have gone further. The way we played yesterday, that team is a Premier League team. I'm not ashamed to say it. Tony is saying, not sure Chris is sure of his best midfield, to be honest. Well, that's a good thing, Tony, because you can tweak it according to opposition. For me now, in that middle of the park, at the base of it, it would always be John Solis now, because he breaks play up so well, and then you've got to think about what you're going to fit around him. Well, we only play 2 DMs. We're not going to go away from the wingers, and obviously we need a number 10. Andy Woody saying, "Hiya Steve, we now have a great squad and a manager. Can't remember seeing a blue side pass it." Oh, it's absolutely brilliant, wasn't it, mate? On a side note, do we believe the Kyogo is injured, or is he upset the apple cart by not going to Celtic? I don't. I think he's injured. I don't think he's upset the apple cart. I know there was some unhappiness in the changing room prior, going back probably 4 weeks, and then a couple of players left and everything changed. Kyogo wasn't one of those, and I think the other one that was missing yesterday, Wata, they carry injuries, and I don't think we would have left him out, although if he's upset the dressing room, then it's got every possibility he would leave him off the bench. But you've got Pateka on the bench and Kanya coming on, then you've got to think that we're looking for players to put on the bench and players to give a run out. That was the whole idea of it. Saying she's been losing my voice since yesterday evening. Yeah, honestly, when I came back from Portugal, I was like, for 3 days, I couldn't talk. Sean Baldock says, all right, saying you're dead on your feet, taking penalties, you can get an adrenaline kick to give you energy you need. It's a tired mind that's the problem. Yeah, maybe, mate. Perhaps overthinking it too much. That's my view anyway. What do you know? You know as much as the rest of us, Sean. The keeper did have, it was quite funny, I don't know if you've seen, that he had everyone's, on his water bottle, he'd had written where our penalty takers were going to hit the ball, and it was like 28 to the right, 7, middle or left. And he said, it was fucking great, but we didn't have any numbers on our shirts, so they didn't put the names of the players on. They put the number 8, because obviously the keeper might not know who the players were, So he put the names on, not the numbers. So he got Stansfield, Doyle, and of course no one's name was on the shirt, so he didn't know. That was quite funny, I thought. But the 2 penalties, you could see from Paddy Roberts' penalty, you would never think that's going to happen, would you, from Paddy Roberts? And it don't matter. It just don't matter. It really doesn't. We can all sit there and think what might have been, but you know what? I don't give a shite, because it's better in a way. We can concentrate on what we're doing now. We're not going to, have to play games on a Saturday and miss a league game and have a league game in hand. We don't want that situation. Alright, we had it last season, we handled it really well because we were so far in front. When you're chasing teams, that's when you don't want that. Playing 2 and 3 games in 7 days, when you're trying to get the points to go up. It was a good job we went out, really, and we went out in the proper way. I still think we're unbeaten. Our unbeaten run goes to 11 now, or 12. So they beat us. It was penalties. That don't count. Of course it don't. Tony Eustace, surely August has to be first choice instead of Ducks. Lost word for Tenerial threat. The thing is, Tony, that Ducks has been playing in the 10, not up front. So if Priska comes in, Priska will take Stansfield's place, and Stansfield will drop into the 10, the way he did on Saturday. Dox is frustrating, isn't he? He has the odd game where he looks undroppable, but then he has 3 or 4 games where you don't see him. And I've got to say, probably the only one that I was disappointed in on Saturday was Doxy. Just didn't seem to get involved. I don't know what it is. But luckily, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything else. Paul Evans is saying ducks can't jump. White men can't jump. Did you see that film? Do you remember that? Woody, what's his name? Emily, I was heartbroken for Doyle and Roberts. I've not even thought about it since. It's what it is. It happens in football. They both played an excellent game. But like I said, honestly, you know, it's good job that we lost. I'm not, you know, financially probably, you know, Tom Wagner would have another stroke if you heard me saying that. But, you know, I hope you're all right, by the way, Tom. I know you are. You know, it's a good job we didn't win, because when the next FA Cup game comes up, it's going to be a Saturday or a Monday or a Sunday, and it's going to be a weekend when we would have a league game, and that is going to give us games in hand. We don't need games in hand when we're trying to get into that top six, because that means then you're going to be playing 1 week, you're going to be playing 3 games. You don't want to do that. And if we were to win in the 5th round and get in the last 8, it happens even more, doesn't it? And let's face it, we're not going to win the FA Cup. Well, we know we're not now, but we weren't going to win it. So you have to, you know, take a backward step and look at the whole thing and think, all right, had we won those penalties, yeah, we'd have all been a bit more euphoric and a bit happy today, and the club would have took more money and we'd have got a few more headlines, but I don't think we would have been in a better place. Paul James is saying, agree about Ducks, but he does have that ability to turn the game on its head. He does, Paul, but do you swap that for doing nothing for 4 games? I mean, I think he's really affected Stansfield's game by Stansfield having to play up top. He's great if he gets a service from Ducks, but he doesn't. It's like against Albion. And the thing is, people slag Stansfield for it. What's the matter with Stansfield, you know, playing up front, and he can't, because he's having to come back and do the number 10 role himself, you know, that's why. He has to drop deep. Richard saying, but he scores goals, just needs to get more involved in the game. He should be in the 10, Stano instead of Duck, with Prisk in the 9. Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, Ducks has been in the number 9 for the last 3 times he's played, and all right, you know, he scored 6 goals this season. You know, it's not like he hasn't scored 20 goals, and you know, and he has some lovely touches sometimes, but he doesn't do enough. He just doesn't do enough for me. You know, that's me. That's my opinion. And absolutely, you know, and the other thing we can do, and we've seen it before, is you know, Stansfield and Dimmy have done it often and switch throughout the game. Dimmy in the 10, Stan in the 11, switch, and it confuses defences. Dimmy can play the 10, he can come in on that right foot. It's not like Roberts isn't really a 10, he's more of an 8. But I think that's the answer, and Ducks is there to bring someone in. You to bring in if Stansfield's injured or Prisk gets a knock, you know, with half an hour to go, bring Ducks on. But I think he's had his opportunity. I think he's, you know, and I know like Harry Parker's going to be a bit pissed off about that, but it's the truth. He doesn't get involved enough, and he's not physical enough. You see Priska, you know, fighting with those centre halves. You never see Ducks doing that. He never ever gets physical like that. Evan saying, absolutely heard negativity behind me after the save and miss. I just asked, would you do better? Who were we talking about? The penalty. Nah, well, you can't be negative about those penalties. Whoever took those penalties, you know, they stood up and had to be counted, and I think they were brilliant, you know. Richard is saying, I like Ducks, but he's only ever a 7.5 out of 10. Well, you know, listen, mate, if we could get a 7.5 out of 10 for every game, I think we'd be happy. I don't think he's not often a 7. He's sometimes an 8, mostly a 6. Me again, you know, my opinion. Sean, Ducks appears to me, he's a lot better in space or doing a 1-2. I'm unsure if he likes the physical stuff. Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Sean, because he doesn't get the space. Although yesterday Leeds gave us space, I just don't think he made enough room for himself. Harry's come on and saying perfect outcome for me. I wanted us to play well, show how good we are, and going out on pens is the best way. Yeah, unless it's a playoff final. Yeah, any opposition watching that knows we're coming for you and we've got the ammunition. I agree about Ducks. Well, thank you, Harry, for agreeing about Ducks. I know how much you like him, and he does do some wonderful stuff occasionally. But you know, he went missing. He did go missing. It was a shame, you know, because obviously he doesn't go out there to do that. But I don't think the German game is. It's not as physical as the Championship. It's not as quick, and it's not as hard. And yeah, and let me tell you as well, you ain't going to see Ducks playing 2 hours, which is what which is what Stansfield did. You know, which is what Doyle did. You ain't going to see that. Paul James is so surprised because of his size, but he just isn't. He's not physical. You know, he's not. He's got a lovely touch. He's got good vision. But sometimes it's just not enough, is it? You know, you want more out of a player that's going to play in the 10. Like Williamson was a bit like that. He got a lovely touch. He was a wonderful footballer, but he just hadn't got it, you know. Sean saying Priska was very physical. Yeah, I love that about Priska. He's very, very English in his football, in the way he plays, isn't he, Priska? But he's more all action than normal big centre forward, because he'll bring it from outside the box and run it. You know, he's got some pace for a big man as well. Really impressed with Priska. Doyle's pen was a good. He was a good save, Richard. But you know, yeah, and penalties are penalties. You know, anything can happen. You can hit it over the bar. You can put it through the back of the net. And of course, Ducks scored a penalty, so you know we have to say that, which of course 2 other players didn't do. But let's have a look how we're doing on the old comments, because we know what happens, don't we, after around 100. We've got about 20 left, so we're doing well. Yeah, so I'm looking forward very much to Saturday and watching us play against the Clemente side that is playing really, really well at the moment. They won 3-1 at the Albion on Saturday. But Albion at home are going to be different to the Albion away, because like when Albion came and played us at St Andrews, going away from St Andrews with a point was a good result. Playing at home to Norwich, they can't go into a low block at home. The fans would string them up after what's happened recently. Harry's saying exactly, Richard. Hate when they call a save a miss. Yeah, I agree with that. What did you guys think of Candy's performance? I've seen Emily say earlier she thought she had a really good game. I thought he was peripheral. I think he's another one that probably isn't strong enough in terms of physicality. He had 1 or 2 nice little touches, and he had a really, really good opportunity at the end. That you know, I don't know if it came to him a bit quick. He doesn't look panicked at all. He looks quite cool on the ball, but I don't think we've seen enough of him really. And he was playing against a team that's going to give him a bit of space, but yeah, he didn't do badly, you know, definitely not. It would have been absolutely brilliant if he could have put that one away at the end, you know, but it's just how it is. Darren Humphrey saying, brilliant game yesterday, Steve, every player was excellent, can't fault them. Panzo was good in the back. Yeah, we've already spoken about Panzo, and we do think he's really good. Pauline Edwards is on, the old... the Duchess of St Andrews, we like to call Pauline. John Vincent's widow, Pauline. Hi, Steve, I hope you're okay. Had a little bit of a consistency of what we saw on Sunday, and they definitely go to playoffs. Pauline, I hope how are you, darling? I hope the families, give my love to Nat and to Georgia and the lads. Yeah, you know, I think all that's done really, what happened yesterday was it's given us real belief in the fact that we can go on and go into the playoffs, if not win them, you know. And it was actually said by the TNT team yesterday, this team, the way they're playing, can get into the playoffs. And then, like, the way they're playing, who's to say they're not going to win them, you know. Richard is saying, what position was he played in? His shot at the end got well blocked by two defenders. It was, but like he hit it into a ruck of players, and I think he had the option to go on the other side. He tried to place it, and I think he should have just put his foot through it. It might have deflected, it might have gone in. You know, I don't know. He was playing like, I can't remember who he replaced, but he was playing in the middle. He was playing the position he would normally play, which is like a 10. But at the end there, obviously, everyone is going forward. It wasn't like he'd come on to do a particular role. It was people to come on in the end and to get us through the extra time. Tony used to say, sorry if you mentioned it already, but thought, yeah, well, we're just talking about it actually, Fujimoto. He did well when he came on. Chris must see something in him as he didn't get rid. I'll be honest, Tony, I think he would have gone if someone would have come in for him. I'm sort of not disappointed that he didn't. You know, he showed us something yesterday that we didn't probably know he had. And he's played he's played in Portugal and been a really, really good number 10 with really good numbers. But again, the Portuguese league isn't the championship and it's harder. But, you know, he was fine. He didn't, you know, for me, he didn't stand out, but he didn't stand out for any reason. So he didn't stand out because he was really good. He didn't stand out because he was bad. He just came on and did a decent job, you know. That's my opinion of it. By the way, we've got our lovely Keep Right On ring in the group at the moment. Trying to raise some money for our projects going into summer. So please, if you can put £3 a ticket, have a go at it. There's a link there to, I don't know, it takes you through. You put your bank details on. If you want to buy more than one ticket, you can. There's deals for them, so you can get, I don't know, 2 for a £5, for instance, something like that. The ring is absolutely wonderful. It's like an oval with a black background with KRO in the middle. It's done by John Francis. That's a John Francis piece, you know. I bought Beck one for her birthday as well, one of these. Hers is more girly, you know, like it's smaller. But please, if you want to buy any of this sort of stuff, John Francis from Amazon Gold is your man. And also, I would go at winning the ring. It really helps us. Darren Humphrey is saying Tony Eustace CD might be getting up to speed because he never let him go in the window. It could be that, Darren. You know, a few players didn't go in the window. I think we were unsure about Kyogo, weren't we? And then Priska came in, and everything changes. So I don't know what part Kyogo is going to play now, but I think we'll see him and Dux on the bench, I think. Yeah, well, like I say, Richard, he might have kept him because no one came in for him. And you can't get rid of a player that's got a 3-year contract. I mean, it makes me laugh at you when people go like, oh, you know, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. You can't just get rid of players, you know, you have to have someone to come in and offer them a deal that they agree to. Otherwise, they could just sit and draw their wages if they want. You've got to remember that, you know, contracts work both ways. They're not just in favour of the club. And the same thing with Alfie May. People, you know, why didn't we, you know, I mean, would you still want Alfie May now? You know, my guess would be that you wouldn't. But people are saying, no, we should have kept Alfie May. You can't keep a player that wants to go. Alfie May chose to go to Huddersfield on a 3-year contract rather than stay with us for another season in the Champion, you know, on a 1-year contract. He wasn't happy with that. So that's Alfie May's choice, you know. I think the club did exactly the right thing. You know, we don't talk about Alfie May anyway. We want to talk about nice stuff. Not that Alfie's not nice, he's great in him, but, you know, talk about Blues stuff. And the other thing that I absolutely loved yesterday, I'm going to be really upset now. We won't be playing the Penguin, will we? And I really love that Penguin. And yesterday, I thought it looked absolutely brilliant with the white shorts and the white socks. Man, that took me back. Brian Rumball sounds also been given another chance. I think he deserves it. Well, he certainly played well. It depends on what Chris Davies thinks. If it was me, I would play Allsop now, I think, because I think he showed us enough on Saturday that when we are in the ascendancy and we're in the control of the game, Allsop has better vision than Beadle in terms of hitting the ball long. I think Beadle's better on his line. They're just they're two different keepers. But I think I would start Allsop, to be honest. But not because Beadle's done anything wrong, but I just think with his running now, it might be better to get Rocky back in goal. Richard saying, can we still loan players out after the transfer window closes? You can't loan players out. Transfer window's closed. The only way a player leaves is if you cancel his contract and he goes for nothing, or he waits until the transfer window opens. So we've pretty much got the squad that we need. I think that squad is as good as any squad in the Championship, if not better than any squad in the Championship. I mean, just look at it going through it. Like a few Leeds fans are making the point that, we dropped 4 or 5 players. Well, we sort of did, didn't we? Asai Samuel wouldn't be normally the right back. Panzo wouldn't normally be playing the central half. Doyle wouldn't normally start. And you can go on, can't you? And because we've got so many new players, we've seen that at half time and just after half time when we started making changes. Did you swap Osman for Dimmy? You swap Vicente for Paddy Roberts? You swap Priska for Dux. I mean, Dux didn't play particularly well, but he's a quality footballer. You make these changes, and everyone we bring in, you're not thinking that's a weak link. You're thinking this player could probably get into most Championship teams, and I think that's how it looks for us. I think we're very, very strong now. When you look back at the team, and I think we have to think about this, that people are complaining about us not being in that position to get into to be in that playoff position already. We're like 10th, 12th, 13th, and people are having a go at Chris Davies about a month or 6 weeks ago when we had a little bit of a poor run. But it's a point that we changed half of the team in the summer, and we couldn't have bought 15 players in the summer to swap the team. We've bought half a team in the summer and we've bought the other half in the winter, and I think now we have a team that even if now we push on, if we get into the playoffs and we don't get to Wembley, or we don't go up, or we miss the playoffs by a point or two, you've got to look at what we have now and think next season there ain't going to be many teams that are going to touch us in that Championship. And you have to be a little bit, you have to be that way minded sometimes to think that, all right, we played really, really well, but it's not the end of the world if we don't go up this season. But we have every chance of doing it. Harry Parker saying, I don't know if we used all our subs. If not, I would have subbed on Beadle just before the end. Can you have subs in extra time? Yeah, I think you can. I can't remember now if we had any subs left, but Teka came on, Kanya came on, Dux came on, I don't know. We probably didn't. Roberts came on, Dimmy came on, so there's your five in it. Melvin Jones is saying, what was the idea of having two keepers on the bench? I think we're a little bit short, to be honest, of bodies. It's as simple as that, and it doesn't hurt to bring some of the kids into that atmosphere. So Mayo coming into that atmosphere was good. Biteka getting a taste of it was brilliant. In fact, it's funny you should say that, Melvin. Was like, I looked at that team before, and I did say that, I thought Allsop would start, but then I looked and I thought, you know what, it would be a bit stupid, but it would have been possible for Brad Mayo to start. Probably wouldn't have been the best guy to bring a kid straight into, but you just never know, do you? And it might have been where, we're winning 2-0 or something, he gives Mayo a run out, we get a keeper sent off. I don't know what the thinking was, but that's all I can think. And I don't know, Harry, about bringing Beadle on just before the end, because he wasn't involved in the whole game, and I think it's probably better to leave it as it was. I don't know. I'm guessing you're thinking to bring Beadle on, like to make him a part of the day, I suppose. I get what you're saying, mate. Yeah, just like we're all buzzing at the moment. We've got 3 comments left, so we'll start to wind it up. I think I'm going to do another one. Yeah, we did use all the subs, Jeremy. We did use them all. I'm going to be coming on Wednesday to do a midweek catch up, and on Friday we're going to do the Norwich preview and have a look at what we think. Might be interesting for some of us to do some. If you want to pop a team into the group, what you think the team will be, we'll have a little look at it and we'll see who gets near it. I wasn't far off. I had Iwata in the middle with Solis, and I had Vicente starting instead of Roberts. I had Roberts starting instead of Vicente. Apart from that, I got the team right, so I was well chuffed with that. Not bad, was it really? Harry Parker, no, because he's the best shot stopper. He is, mate. Yeah, he could have stayed on the penalties, but you can't I agree with not giving Allsop a game because he didn't get a game in the previous round, and I think he deserved a run out. Allsop. I do think probably he might have saved a pen. You can't say, but you can't play a goalkeeper. I understand what you're saying now, Harry. You wanted to bring Beadle on because he's a better shot stopper than. I understand what you mean now. I think it would have been a little bit disrespectful to Allsop, to be honest. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean now. Paul James is saying, good live. Thank you very much, Paul. Really busy. Keep right on, Steve and everyone else. Yeah, these lives are good fun. We have a nice little catch up. We put them back in the group later, so if people want to watch them on YouTube, you're more than welcome to do so. And thank you all so much for joining in today. It's been an interesting one. I knew it would be a busy one, and it has been. It's nice just to be able to talk about it, isn't it? Make our feelings felt other than putting them on posts on Facebook. It's been really, really good. I think Chris Davies deserves a big pat on the back as well, because Chris has been Rocky was the right one for the game. Harry Parker saying, yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think Chris Davies has always stood by what he believes in, and I love him for that, because a lot of managers could have wilted recently under pressure from supporters. I think we had a bit of a situation going on in the dressing room that we weren't aware of, that was working against us. Um, as soon as that was sorted, you could see like the change in Chris, and he looks so much better now, doesn't he? He looks like he's had a weight lifted off him, and I'm just so really happy for the boss, and you know, for Ben Petty as well, who's always there. Ben's a good assistant. We got the coaches. The set pieces have just been absolutely brilliant, haven't they, recently? So you got to give a big plus to Jonathan Grounds and all the others. Everyone's in this together. The supporters, the manager, the players, and it was a very, very together performance, and it brought the club together, I think. And with Tom Wagner how he is at the moment, Tom's going to get better, but we're all thinking about him. We're all part of this great Blues family, and we have to stick together through the thin and thinner. We're Blues fans, aren't we? So we've got to be positive, and we've got to be so thankful for that great display on Sunday. But you know what? I sort of knew that was going to happen, because it's what we do, isn't it? We'll play Port Vale at home and get beat in the League Cup, and we'll play Leeds at home and play them off the park. But there you go, I suppose. It's one of them things. But thank you all for joining me. Numbers are going down now, so everyone's going. I'll speak to you later in the week. Don't forget, put your teams in. See what you think your team's going to be for Norwich. Have a bit of a laugh. And thank you so much for joining me again. Have an absolutely fabulous day. And got the wrong arm again. There it is, look. Keep right on. And let's hope we can wear the... Chris, we want to wear the penguin, don't we? See you later, guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.